Andi Lew and welcome to Love Well, where we're all about creating care culture. I need to help you care about what happens on your dating app interactions. So you're on a dating app and you think to yourself, this is great, I might not ever meet this person. And so I can be whoever I want to be. Dive right in and give them your best kind self. When you give somebody your best kind self on this, it actually helps you with the rest of your life. Let me give you an example. One of my favorite sayings is, leave a person better than you found them. When you leave a person better than you found them, you have a very kind and respectful interaction, which then means that you feel better knowing that you were kind to that person, even though you never met up, even though you decided you never wanted to date that person or even pick up the phone and call them. They felt like they had a very respectful and kind exchange of words with you, and now they're better for the next person that's probably right for them. And not only does that make you feel good about yourself, and therefore you become the better person that's right for you, but it gives you the freedom to stop thinking about what just happened with that last person you left and open up a very free and loving space for the next. Now, this can happen when you're actually in a relationship as well. So why can't it happen when you're on a dating app? Think about this. How many people break up and don't actually ever get to have a conversation around why it happened? So many things happen with ghosting and how we feel when somebody just walks away or sends you a text message and breaks up with you and you never get to resolve, you never get to be heard. And there are so many people who are walking around unresolved or broken and bringing that into the next relationship. The same thing happens on dating apps. Yep. When you just unmatch that person, you're actually, if you don't end it well, it sticks with you. Now, I know because I've done this, and I researched my book Instalovers for about 4 years. Whilst I was single, I know how it felt to kind of just run away from that person. And it hurts. But there are two things that I want you to take away from this. If that happens to you, let's just go, that person just didn't know how to end things well. The main thing is to walk away with some kind words. Perhaps tell the person that they're not quite right for you or you're not vibing it. Don't say them. You know, sometimes I like to say, hey, I'm actually just not vibing us, but you're such a great guy and I've really enjoyed the banter that I've had with you and I wish you all the best. Then say, I'm probably going to unmatch you, or it looks like I might delete this app, or I'm just not feeling it right now. This has got nothing on you. And it's a really good way to end any sort of dating app interaction. I think a lot of people on dating apps I found when I was researching were just broken from how we left each other. And what's so funny is that a lot of people were on dating apps broken anyway, looking for the one. So here's my next tip. Only get on a dating app when you're ready. So I call this love when you're ready, not when you're lonely. Because it doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship while you're still healing. I think it's really important to know that you deserve that and you don't have to be this ultimate person to date before you enter any relationship. You can meet someone and both still grow and heal together. But when you're really ready for the dating game, now I call it the dating game, not in a mean way like we're playing games, but the game of getting to know someone new. Now I like to call this dating netiquette, because online there's a certain netiquette that needs to occur and nobody taught us with a book of rules, so I wrote one. So here's the dating netiquette. Know how to block a person before you get on. That's in a whole nother video, which we're going to talk about later. And it's in a chapter of my book called Weed Out the Weirdos. But before you get on, be ready by knowing how to block a person. The next thing is commit to kindness. So you want to make sure that you know how to start off a conversation that's kind and how to end kind. Also, know your boundaries and your barriers. If you start off knowing how to block a person, how to sort of, be safe and all of those things, but yet they start to turn out to be not just socially awkward, but an absolute weirdo or a fake profile, then know how to protect yourself. And you'll find out more in my book, #Instalovers. And lastly, make sure you're having fun. I mean, so many people say to me, I'm just not having fun on this. If it's not fun for you anymore, delete the app or just have a break from it. Now, the average person is actually using 3 dating apps at the same time. Each app actually provides a different set of things and also a different type of person. Each app attracts a different culture. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of different apps. You've got Hinge, which is the relationships app. If you haven't heard of it, jump on. It's not about swiping, it's about clicking on a love heart and writing a little something about yourself and having an opportunity to engage in a conversation. Hinge is very well known for being a relationships app because as soon as you get on, it says, this is the relationships app. And we are dedicated to getting you off the app. That pretty much means that people are warned again, you're on this app because you want a relationship. Then you've got the fun ones which empower women. Bumble, allow the woman to talk first. But there's no hard and fast rule about how it works. In fact, it's just to keep women really safe and to help men understand that women need to be respected on these apps because they're putting themselves out there. And then there's Tinder, the pioneer, I guess, of all of the dating apps. The marketing director of Tinder at the time, he was working for 5 years. He wrote the foreword to my book, Instalovers, and Tinder really paved the way for all of the dating apps. And there are still some good people on there, but there can be people on Tinder that are after a hookup. People say to me, is it the app or, well, is it the app? I'm going to say it's possibly the person. See, how you present is what you'll attract. Just let that sink in. If you know your boundaries, you know your worth, you're acting kindly, then even if that person was on an app for a hookup only, you might actually change their mind. So keep that in mind. Before you decide to meet someone from a dating app IRL, you need to make sure that you've at least picked up the phone. When I say pick up the phone, I'm like, dial it in, dial in that love. Yes, you need to actually give out your number, or on some apps you can actually call or even video call without giving your number. But you need to give out your number and know how to block it before you do. But listen to their voice. You see, with texting, it removes away all the tonality, all the timing. You need to be able to ascertain whether you've actually got a real connection with someone. In fact, so many times you might even decide that you don't even like that person's voice. And I mean, I know that sounds shallow, but there is something about connection that you won't be able to describe, and you'll only know when you pick up the phone. So at some point, stop texting. That needs to happen within about a day or two, depending on how busy everybody's lives are. Pick up the phone and have a real conversation. When you're video calling, here's my tip though, make sure you choose good lighting. I know it just sounds like the craziest thing ever, but bad lighting can actually ruin your IRL chances. In fact, that video call is kind of like an audition, and I call this section in my book the casting couch. Like, it kind of sounds crazy that you're kind of selling yourself. It really is a singles market. If you want to have a good chance at something, then make sure you give your best self in terms of good lighting. Always smile, okay? Because that person's going to be just as nervous as you. Make sure you're smiling to be sort of non-threatening. Angles. There is nothing worse. Have you ever gone to just look at your phone and it's accidentally on selfie mode and it's down here and you're like, oh, I really look unattractive from this angle. So make sure that when your arm is starting to get tired that it doesn't slip down here and all of a sudden you look like a weirdo. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, we all look like that, but this is your first chat to hopefully score yourself a date. So choose a good angle, usually sort of face height. Women like to do this a lot, and I think that's getting a little bit next level because all we can see is your Allow that person to suggest a date after the call. Now, it doesn't have to be on the video call. It can also be done by text once the video call has hung up. So if you've ended that video call and it was great, you don't need to be a salesperson and close that deal straight away. You can let things unfold. I think what happens with us is that when we get on a dating app, we think, oh, we've matched. Oh my God, I'm getting married. Or, oh, we've just called. Oh my God, we're actually going to be on a date. No, it doesn't guarantee anything. The speed of dating apps is so fast. It's faster than speed dating, and I'm going to ask you to slow it down. You want to actually let that person enter your life in a natural way, like you would if you just met them at the gym or at the park. I just helped you get your date sorted. Good luck and have fun.